Yeah, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate you guys coming back over here again for the second time as well. And the new ones that's just coming over here for the first time, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. But look, before we go any further, this is just a reflection of the sun is coming from outside, shining onto the wall. So it's not a crack screen on your device or a glitch or anything or you want to put it. But yeah, it's just a reflection of the sun, so you can see. Ian Fray, Tyrese Hall, and also Jamalo. I want to ask a question because someone did ask me the question when he scored that cancellation goal versus Charlton Athletic, over the weekend as well in the AFL Championship. And they did ask me, should Jamalo get back a recall? And my answer to round that question that was asked, it's just someone that randomly asking me a question of should Jamalo get back a recall? Is he doing enough at Sheffield Wednesday to gain back a recall in the national team? My answer was no. There's quite a few bodies that is currently in front of Jamalo at this moment. You understand? The Ian Fray situation where he gave an interview, which many of you guys would have seen it already, and I want to touch on something around that as well. A narrative of talk about heritage players that born overseas that are Jamaican, with Jamaican descent or whatever you want to put it in the diaspora, and also the informed Tyrese Hall at this moment. And his coach have said a few, look, he's doing really good. You understand? He's doing really good at this moment. You can't say anything bad, around the young man farm at this moment. But that's where I'm going in around this video. But the Jamalo situation though, I want to ask you the first thing in this video. Should a Jamalo get back a recall back in the stop? Is it that Jamalo, farm reward him a recall to the national team? And let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. But for me personally, I just feel like you have quite a few players that are in front of Jamalo at this moment. You still have Norman Campbell. You understand? Someone that, he started out the season really hot, but he went cool over the last month or so. At Trevante Stewart, someone that is currently playing on top of his game, peak at this moment. You understand? Who still can't get a recall. Someone who actually played in European qualification rounds in the Conference League earlier in the summer as well. So playing at a very top level. So I'm just saying, man, there's just quite a few players that's in front of him. And if you ask me, where is Jamalo best position on the pitch? We don't know. Yes, he would have been playing, in a front two lineup, where he's normally partnership with a Bailey Kadamatieri or someone else in that Sheffield Wednesday, starting level where they play what 3-5-2 from the back. So he normally be that first or second striker in that starting level, or he's coming off the bench. Yes, he scored a goal on the weekend versus Charlton Athletic in a cancellation goal as well. So I just feel like, one, I don't know where is his best fit in this national team. Jamalo can come off as a 9. He can come off as a winger. A player that can play anywhere across, the attacking third in a 4-3-3, in a front, in a 2-man up front, 4-4-2, wherever you want to put it. He can fit in right there. But if you're going to pick him as a 9, who will you get picked over? Can't see him get picked over many players, in around this setup at this moment. And if you look at it, the wingers, yeah, with the likes of Bailey, with the likes of Demari Gray, both playing over the weekend, would have been a little bit more, ready, getting ready for that November window, looking to get back another call up back into the team. You understand? So it's going to be tough if he's going to ever get a call. I don't see him get picked as a winger because you still have Tyrese, still have Whisper, Dixon, Cephas, Bailey, Gray, so many different players that can choose from in around the wing areas. And also as a 9, you still have Shaman Nichols, you still have Bailey Kadamati, you still have Roman Burrell, who is playing very well, for his club team in the championship, yeah, who still not getting the minutes that he would have loved to get for the national team. You understand? So yeah, it's just going to be tough. But for me, it's just a no at this moment. I don't think he have put in any real good shift consistently, for me to say, hey, Jamalo deserves to be back in the team. I don't think. I'm watching the championship day in and day out. And whenever he really come to play for the national team, he just seems like a player like, I don't want to say he's not motivated, but he just look like a player that he just lost. Like he just cannot find him rhythm around the national team. I remember, I think it was the Nations League where I think it was Al Grimsey pick him somewhere when we have some injuries, players were suspended and all of that, and he got picked. And he never did anything in the game. And that's why he never took his opportunity. So he just looked like a lost, a man that walking around in the national team that looking like he's just a bit confused of what am I going to do? You understand? So that's it, man. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. But, the Tyrese Hall situation, this is what Tyrese Hall would have said, right at the back of, his winning goal for Nats County to help them get pushed up the table in League 2 this season. This is what the young man have to say, around his game in a post-game reaction.
What was that like at the end?
Couldn't have asked for a better result, really. It was a tough ground to come to. We knew what we was going to face. I think we were obviously probably the second best team today, but I think the most important thing is the 3 points, so we're happy to take that.
What was that moment like to score that goal in stoppage time?
I think it was probably better than the first professional goal I scored. I think, especially to do it in my hometown in front of my family and friends, I don't think there's any better feeling than that, so I'm happy.
How many people did you have here watching you today?
7 family members and 5 friends, so quite a few people, so I'm happy to put on a show for them again and get a goal.
You felt like a real tough game to be a part of, a real sort of physical battle. You had to really be switched on mentally as well just throughout.
Yeah, I think we've worked all week in training leading up to this game, so I think all the boys are switched on, especially with like a really fit team, so I think we're able to compete throughout the full 99, 100 minutes.
You took the goal really well as well. It didn't look like an easy finish, but you made it look like an easy finish.
I think the ball dropped to me quite fast. I just remember Maz turning and shooting, and it just landed at my feet, and then I just poked it in and kind of lost my head and took my shirt off. So,
I guess you don't mind the yellow card for that.
I'll take a yellow card for that.
5-5 for you now. It's just great form. How long can this run keep going, do you think?
I think just keeping up the consistency in training first, working hard day in, day out, especially recovering well to make sure my body's in the best form possible to go again, especially because we've got 3 games this week, so I'm going to have to recover properly after this and then go again Tuesday.
Just how extra special does it feel to score a winner so late on in the game as well?
I think it makes it even better, especially because the later the game gets, it's more tense. Everyone's probably wondering what's going to happen, but obviously happy to score in the last minute and get 3 points.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
So I'm saying, man, the coach, I was trying to go back to find the interview where he coached in previous, I think it was way back when they played, who they played? I think they played Crawleytown, Kaim Dixie team, where this coach actually talk about him. And also there's a few, gestures made around him as well, earlier, right off the back of that performances as well, that look, the player, Tyrese Hall, the player that they saw came to the door at Nats County, in the first time coming to the door at Nats County, compared to now that, look, the player is improving massively day by day. You understand? And they cannot believe that how much the player is improving at this moment. It's just hard to keep him away from the action. It's just hard, to keep him, away from the starting level. And his talent, he said he's growing. You understand? He's growing. His potential is growing day by day. And the work that he's putting in on the training pitch is second to none. And the willingness from the young man to learn and to adapt and to be a little bit mobile and have flexibility in around his game to, to match the tempo of the game, whatever the coach is asking him for, is really, he's willing, to accept the challenge and willing. He's a learner, you understand? So it's good. But this is another player I said, man, look, if England probably would have went on to go to that U20 World Cup that just finished, that Morocco just won in Chile, maybe he would have been a player that was would have been in around that England under 20 setup, just like a Bailey Kadamatieri. He would have been one of those strikers. That's so good both players are at this moment. You understand? Especially a Bailey Kadamatieri. So, I mean, with him improving day by day, massively, as a young man, that's what, 19, 20 at this moment, and loan as well. Yeah, there's a lot of words that's going around with a Tyrese Hall at this moment. And I can say that if he's going to continue this season until the end next year, yeah, we don't know what Tottenham can do with him. And also, maybe they will send him out on a loan, but to a higher league, maybe more likely will be the Championship. You understand? And from there, he can be one of those players that will be featuring around the England U21, prepare back for the Euros. So we have to act fast. You understand? We have to act fast and see what the player really up to see if the commitment is there to really get him on board, because he's a player that can improve, young player. He's a player that can give us the next 2-3 cycles at the highest level. We never know where will Tyrese Hall end up in the next 2 to 3 years, because this is football, man. You understand? This is football, A player can have a very good season, in the 25-26 season, and then the 26-27, you don't know where they can go after that. And he can go to Ireland, as I said. He's getting to that age, and if he can continue, to continue the progress and have a very good season, even go on to have double-digit goal in League 2 this campaign, the England under-21 team wouldn't be far away from him. So we have to test the water and really act really fast and see what really can happen. But the Ian Fray situation of where, he grabbed an assist, he came off the bench to play right back, and I hope that McLaren, is watching the ball playing and coming off the bench to play as a right back and see how decent of a right back he is. Someone that, yes, can challenge a Dexter Lembekisa, someone that can even give more, even as much as more that Dexter is giving us in the attacking third. You understand? He can give Dexter a run for his money, especially a Dexter who is currently, I don't even want to say it, man, like the minutes dried up for Dexter Lembekisa, at his club. When Dexter are gonna make him debut, when Dexter are gonna make him debut in a League One this season, I'm not sure when, but it will come, but it's nowhere near close right at this moment, as players going to have to get injured or suspended or whatever, getting a rest. We don't know, man, but but the Ian Fray, man, really good right back, really talented right back, and at the age of 23, and I'm going to say this as well around his name, that as much as his contract is wired down, Inter Miami is very keen on the situation of trying to renew his contract. But as I said in previous video, that European clubs are monitoring the situation, and guess what? The suitors, they are waiting to grab their prey, as Ian Fray is their prey at this moment, that they're willing to give him a contract, but it's all around the player camp. But what I've read again around the player situation of his club future, he's focusing on the postseason, because they would have played Nashville over the weekend. They're going to play Nashville again in a 2-legged game, which I believe that Inter Miami will go on to Inter Miami will go on to beat Nashville and move on to the next one. We have seen likes of Blakey, Seymour Reed, Tavon Gray, Alva Spowell. We would have seen players that who have get called up or represent for us in the past. It's in around the postseason for the MLS club, looking for the postseason. But I think it's going to be close. Will a Reggae Boy player win the MLS this time around? Let's see, it's going to happen. But the European clubs, they are very keen on the situation around Ian Fray, and he's willing to listen to offers, which I think that, again, at 23, a player that can move to the next level real quickly. This is the level you want to see Reggae Boys players moving, right? Getting attraction from European clubs all over in top leagues, Germany, England, Belgium, you name it. You understand? So he's moving into the right direction. I hope that the right club would have come in with the perfect offer for him and give him that as well. So wish him the best of luck. And, Dexter Lemekisa, man, if he can get his act together, it's going to be a really fight, tug of war for that right back position. And Ian Fray as well, that he have played 30 games across all competition. He talking about the League Cup, MLS, I think it's the US Cup, and also World Cup qualifier. I think it was a CONCACAF champion, one of those. But he have played 30 games across all competition, and he have started like 13 of them in the MLS. He have started like 13 MLS games this season. So this will be the most appearances in any season he would have had. So his season is getting better and better. A player that who have probably got 2 ACL in the space of like 2 years. It's really rough on him. It was a tough injury, and to bounce back on that, it show the character of the player, show that the player his mindset, the mentality of him to to get to overcome those injuries and those obstacles. It shows that the player, his mindset is different. But what you have said in the interview that his family, the abundance, so many of them, came to watch him play in the national stadium. It goes to other players that who didn't born in the country, but have born as a heritage player, in different parts of the world, or outside of Jamaica, just like the UK players as well, the heritage players. They are committed. They are committed to the program. So these little false narratives of, local versus overseas, then I think it's just need to get right off like a car that meeting a dangerous accident, that just write it off completely. So that thing, man, even I've heard stories of the Jamaican players that were born, in England, that they don't really give away their jerseys like that. Yeah, they don't really give away their jerseys like that. They taking back home their World Cup qualifier jersey, to their family. That's how much it means to them. You understand? So this false thing about players, don't want these type of players. Like, it's just BS, man. Like, just let's keep positive energy around the camp as, November 18. I don't care what's going to happen on November the 13th, which is my birthday, but on November the 18th, that's the day. Yeah, that is the day. As less we can beat Trinidad, and also, but that wouldn't really give us that automatical qualifying spot, for the World Cup group stage, coming next year. But November the 18th should be that big day. Mark it down. It's going to be a very important day in Jamaican football in history. So we should mark it down and just keep the positive vibes from here now on until November the 18th, until not just November the 18th, but just to continue that great atmosphere, that great positive vibes around the camp, man. But people, bless up on yourself. Thanks for passing through. I'm here again. Catch you guys tomorrow on the Morning Insider Show. Ciao.